All right, all right, all right. We're back. Oh, I think I was on mute. Sorry about that. I apologize. All right, let's get started. So why do I make videos about living in Mexico? So shout out to Mary Jane out there. We got Mary Jane that asked me this question. Yes, this is her name. When payment came through, it was Mary Jane. So shout out to Mary Jane. Same as shout out to all my patrons, all my members, every single one of you guys that helps, provide, any kind of financial help for the show, whether you're asking me questions or you're just sending me a few bucks like Hiv Loco. Hiv Loco bought me dinner for two, for me and the wife. Bought me a silver coin. Anyway, shout out to him. But anyway, so today's question, today's question is actually a different question. It's a simple question in a sense. Well, a complicated answer as always, as I do here. But the question is, why do I make videos about living in Mexico? I mean, why is this what I do for a living? And some of you guys know the reason. Some of you guys don't know the reason. But I mean, short answer, the real reason why I do videos in Mexico. Oh, wait, sorry. Wrong. Oh, my God. Wrong sound effect. Bruh. No, I know that's what a lot of you guys want to hear. A lot of haters out there want to hear. Like, oh, he just does it for money. I mean, yeah, I make some money off of this. I mean, this is basically, in a sense, almost how I live or, pay my bills. Not the only way, but it's one of the ways. But, the question is like, why do I make these videos? How did I get here? How did I get to making these videos, and why do I do this? And it's a bit of a complicated issue. Question, answer, whatever. But hey, again, shout out to Mary Jane out there that gave me a nice donation in order for me to talk about this. I love talking about subjects like this because it's just me ranting, but ranting about just me. So it's a lot easier than ranting about a subject per se, where I could just talk about myself for a minute. Which again, I know a lot of you guys, that's why you watch my channel, because I do talk about myself a lot. And that's the whole idea, because I give you my perspective from my point of view as to how I'm surviving, living, doing my thing out here. And it helps you out because, again, you might find a lot of similarities in, the way that we are or think or what have you. And that's the thing, So how did I get here? Well, long story short, Like, I'll give you the story of how I started making videos to begin with, and then we'll give you how I ended up making videos about Mexico. So how I ended up making videos was basically when I was in Seattle, and I was basically doing consulting out there, business consulting, and that was boring. I didn't like it. It made good money. It's not really what I wanted to do. I had recently left my career as a chef. I was a chef my whole life. I was in kitchens since I was like 15, 16 years old. Even younger, really. My parents had a restaurant. So I was around that my whole life. And then it was like my early 30s, and I went to Seattle. And, I went up there to, work in kitchens and, also for a change. And all that really changed was that I was making more money. It was the same old thing, And so I was like, all right, that's it. I'm done. I don't want to cook anymore. At least I don't want to cook for now. And I fell into business consulting. I was doing that for a while. I was doing pretty good. And so I made friends there. One of my really good friends, which was somebody I met in the last kitchen I ever worked at. And, one day, basically he goes, hey, brother, can you help me out? I'm doing like a project for school, like an art project or something like that. I don't know. And I need you to help me, film. And do you know how to use a camera? And I was like, yeah, I know how to use a camera, of course. Don't worry, I can help you out, whatever. So I go out there, and as I'm helping him, not just film, but then like editing and just going through that whole thing, I was like, oh my God, I fell in love with all that again. So in my past, half of my family was in the restaurant business, and then the other half of my family were photographers, and my dad was one of the first videographers, back when they started doing like, back in the 80s when they started doing like wedding videos and videos for 15s, sweet 15, sweet 16, all that good stuff. So long story short, I was around that whole thing. I was around both industries. And so when I graduated high school, I just went into the restaurant industry. But I really, I wanted to do things like this. So it wasn't until fast forward again, I was helping my friend out and I fell in love with all that again, the movie magic. And then I realized, oh my God, things are a lot easier these days to edit. You could just do, cut, paste everything on the computer, as opposed to back in the day where everything was on tapes and that whole thing. So I quickly fell in love with it. Back then, there was people making vlogs, the first vlogs, like people like Casey Neistat. I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I just started making videos on my own, doing that. And then before I knew it, I was just making videos, a few years down the line. I was just making videos about, what I thought about what was going on in the world. I would talk about Bitcoin, the economy, inflation, all these things that I found interesting that nobody cared about. Because again, nobody cared about it because it showed in the numbers. Nobody watched my videos. But for the longest time, I would do basically daily vlogs talking about, I don't want to say conspiracy theories or anything like that because that's like a bad word. It always is a bad word. But basically, I would just talk about things that I thought were probably going to happen. And sure enough, they happened. But that's another story. But anyway, so I had a channel. Again, let me show you that channel. I got it prompted here. So I had this channel. See, this is my original channel. All right, let me get rid of my face for a minute. Okay, so in case anyone wants to go and check it out. So this is my original channel. Okay, you can go to my videos here. All right, and these are my, the newer videos I was doing. It's a whole history, but you can look, they have a new option here. It says oldest. You can click on oldest and look at that. I was making videos in Seattle like 7 years ago. 7 years ago. And then you can see the whole process. You can watch all my old videos, like 47 views, no views. But you just keep scrolling down, and eventually I started making videos, talking about, again, money, debt. You get to see some of my early works, I used to do professional videos and photography and things like that as well. I said, why not? Let me try doing something like this for a change. And eventually, again, making vlogs, talking about all these things. And then eventually, you see around here, when I moved down to Mexico, all of a sudden, hey, I had something new to talk about, which is, living in Mexico, living in the whole thing, just like, hey, moving out here, again, as you guys can see from these early videos, here, I'll show you one. Oh, you know what? I think did I get rid of some of them? I think I got rid of some of them. Yeah, because you know what? Since they were talking about certain dicey topics, I just got rid of a bunch of them. But long story short, I think you can see here in this video here, you get to see that was the room that I lived in. So I lived in that room in Los Angeles. Oh, wow. I'm wearing literally the same shirt right now. So I lived here. That was my last day in that room, my last day there. I was buying luggage, to pack up and go. Look how skinny and starving I was. So from there, I basically moved to Mexico. And so, see, look, right there. I'm talking about, look at the subject I'm talking about there, Okay, the Volcker rule. See, like, it's funny how people talk about that now and people had no idea what that was even back then. People still probably don't even know what it is today. Anyways, long story short, the point I'm making, okay, back to what I was talking about here, was that, like, I used to talk about certain subjects, and then when I moved to Mexico, I realized that as I was uploading Mexico videos, videos on living in Mexico, all of a sudden I was getting a bunch of people and interested in my videos. They were interested in my content. They were interested in what I hey, I'm interested in that part of Mexico. I'm interested in living in Mexico. I'm interested in that subject. And I started getting a bunch of views. So then I was like, oh, okay. Well, I just came to Mexico. I got zero money, zero nothing. The only money I would make was like, again, I was doing gigs online. All right. And, I would edit videos. I would help people out with certain things. When it came to like making videos for people, again, you can just go to my channel, go to my stuff, to see what the things that I used to do. But long story short, I would just, make a few bucks here, make a few bucks there. But hey, in the meantime, I was making a few bucks from the YouTube. Now, I wasn't making money on advertising per se. No, I would make money because, again, I was already getting a few views, and I would get a few people that would be like, hey, can you help me out with this? Hey, can you help me out with that? Hey, I'm moving to Mexico. I need a place to stay. I need a place to this. And so I would just start helping people out with all that. And so I was like, all right, well, I like making videos. I'm talking about Mexico. You know what I mean? I love, and it's like, I love living in Mexico. I'm showing people this, da-da-da-da-da. Okay. So long story short, for a while, I was making those videos, but then it just started getting boring and stale after a while. So I stopped making videos about Mexico. And then about a year ago, literally a year ago, it was right after Christian broke her foot, that I said, all right, I'm going to get back into making videos. But this time, I'm going to treat it like I would treat it, I don't know, a business. Not in a bad way, but just like, hey, I want to make sure I am enjoying what I'm doing. If I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, well, then you guys are not going to enjoy the videos, And by the way, it showed in the numbers, and the difference has already shown in the numbers. I mean, again, if you go back to 1 year ago, how many subscribers I have had, whatever, up until now, in just 1 year of me changing everything, again, making better content, because that's what I've been doing. All of a sudden, I look at all the subscribers I've gotten, all of you guys. A lot of you guys are probably brand new, but why do I make these videos? Again, you guys, Mary Jane asked me, why do I make these videos? Look, this is the best way I can describe it, okay? I got it written down right here, okay? Okay, this is the best way I could describe it. As I was meeting people, as I would meet you guys, okay, in person, at the very, very, very beginning, many years ago, I started to quickly realize, oh, wait a minute, Jose, you're not just making videos, you're not just helping a few people here. No, wait a minute, you're like really helping people in a sense. And so let me explain. This is the best way I can explain it, okay? This is a typical comment that I get, whether it's in my videos or in an email or in person or in a Zoom call or whatever, okay? But most of the time, anyways, okay, so this is a typical comment I get. And the comment is basically something like, I am 63 years old, I am 65 years old, I am whatever years old. And I just moved to Mexico thanks to you and your videos. And wow, for the first time ever, I'm happy. For the first time ever, I'm living my life. For the first time ever, I'm enjoying my life. Somewhere along the lines of that. And, once you get enough of those, it doesn't take that many. It's, at least for me, it started to inspire me as to, why I really make these videos. And this is why I make the content that I make. When I make a video that's titled, Mexico might not be for you, what I'm targeting, I'm trying to wean out, I'm trying to vet the audience in a sense, what I mean? So that they know what they're getting in for, what they're in for. That's simply it. Because it's all going to depend on what your mindset is, what you want, everything, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, let me, again, I don't want to go off on a tangent in another direction here. The real reason why I make these videos these days, why I make these videos on Mexico these days, okay, is because I encounter so many people these days that are just simply looking for freedom. Freedom. Okay? Now, I think most of you guys in the audience and a lot of you guys that have subscribed and watching my channel, you guys already know what I mean by freedom. If there's tons of people that I have to explain this freedom to, that's another story. But if I don't have to explain freedom to you, then you basically get it. You understand, what the situation is. And so that's why I make these videos, because a lot of people, what they're really just looking for is that freedom. And, some people, they are lucky enough to get it, start experiencing freedom at a younger age, like me, or younger, but at least me, hey, I think I'm pretty much an average age for a young person that gets freedom. All right. And we're going to break it down real quick in the freedom. And, as the years go on, you realize you want that freedom and you yearn for that freedom and you're looking for that finish line, which is retirement, to get that freedom. And then once you get there, are you really free? Are you still free? So, the whole thing. So anyway, in my case, in this case, like I have been free for a very long time. The reason I became a chef, because I had the grades, I had everything, to go be a lawyer, doctor, all this, whatever, and that's not what I wanted to do. I don't want to go down that route. I don't want to be a politician. You know, I don't want to be a lawyer. I don't want to be. I mean, I love, you know, nothing. I got nothing against any of that stuff. But is all I'm saying is that, you know, I knew that's not what I wanted to do. You know, I didn't want to be in that kind of, you know, wear a suit and tie, do all this stuff, you know, live that kind of life. You know, I was already in the industry of, like I said, I used to, you know, hang out with my dad and my cousins as they would, you know, go to weddings and, you know, take photographs and video and be behind the scenes between all that stuff. And that was like the coolest thing ever. And then, you know, on the other side, you know, the restaurant industry, you know, again, my other family, my dad, you know, we also had a restaurant. We were also involved in that. And that was also cool. And by that age, I had already worked at a few restaurants. You know, by the time I was in high school, graduated high school, and I was in that life, and I was like, you know, bartending and doing all these things. I'm like, man, this is like, as a bartender, you get to see a lot of cool things. And so as a bartender, I was like, man, this is like a million times cooler than, you know, any of the guys, you know, that are coming to me, you know, for drinks, because I used to work at like a kind of fancy bar. And so, you know, I used to have lawyers and businessmen and people with money in Miami to come, you know, visit me. By the way, I see you, Diana. I see you, Teresa. Thank you so much for, you know, the donations. I just don't want to get distracted here. Shout out to both of you guys. Thank you so much, okay? Muchas gracias. Okay? But yeah, long story short, you know what I mean? Like, the reason I went into the kitchen is because of freedom. Because I saw the freedom that there was living that life. I knew I was not going to make that much money, but it was more interesting to me to just have that freedom of that lifestyle. So that's why I went that direction. And that's why I did that for the longest time. But after a while in the USA, yeah, freedom is not a, you know, it's okay. Like George Carlin says, in order for you to achieve the American dream, you got to be asleep. So, you know, as a chef, you don't really got too much time to sleep. So I really, you know, couldn't, you know, really dream too much about the American dream. I had to actually live the American life. And when you're not making that much money because you're a cook, a chef, or whatever, and you got to, like, again, live in a very expensive city, even if you don't live in an expensive city, but long story short, you know, you got bills you got to pay. And again, this is why people become a nurse or a lawyer or whatever it is that they do, you know, because it's more about paying the bills and living a comfortable lifestyle. But since I chose the latter and I chose more about freedom, you know, as the dollar, you know, lost its value, as all these things, you know, the 2008 crash, you know, so many things started to happen. By the way, shout out to Greg. Thank you, Greg. You're the best, brother. Hope you're feeling better. Shout out to you. Truck is running great. I'll talk to you later. Anyways, look, you know, so I focus on freedom. And so from a very young age, you know, and again, in my 20s, you know, I was already focusing on freedom, even though it was a hard life, very hard. But all that difficultness basically prepared me for, you know, not just moving to Mexico, but all the other things that would eventually hit my life. And so since I know what freedom is, and eventually once I left the kitchen, and then I really just started becoming an entrepreneur, and I just learned that I could just make money. Yeah, it was going to be even more difficult, but hey, you know, I get to keep all the money, all the effort, you know, it's all on me, and I put a lot of effort, a lot of work. So long story short, once I discovered what it is to be an entrepreneur, it's not for everybody. I know it's a term that's thrown around a lot these days, and everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Anyway, no, but you know, a real businessman, a real entrepreneur, you know. Anyways, you know, I went down that road. Once I discovered that, I was like, oh man, this is the best. This is the best, you know. So because of that, you know what I mean? Like, I've always kind of had that freedom. So now fast forward to today, you know what I mean? Yes, I came out to Mexico and I'm living the best life I've ever lived. You know, I don't know. I'm living my American dream, my standards, okay? In my sense of the definition, because of how I've had to live in the USA and what kind of, you know, everything I've been used to. So I come out to Mexico and now I get to put, you know, that much effort into, I don't know, growing a YouTube channel. That's another thing. Why I came to Mexico. It was, again, you already know my story, you know, I needed money and I didn't want to go back to work. I'm honest. I'm telling you the truth, you know, and I didn't want to go back to work. Not that I didn't want to work. I work very hard, okay? I was breaking down my hours, okay, on a daily on what I do, and it's a lot. So I work a lot, but it's on me, on my things, on my business, on the channel, on so many other things that I get to do, that I want to do. Freedom. Now you get it? Freedom. I have the freedom to do what I want. And so the freedom, okay, comes at a cost. A lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of whatever. But guess what? So does working for the man. So does working the job. So does doing all these things. Again, it's not for the faint of heart. Some people would just rather cash their paycheck, the guaranteed paycheck every 2 weeks. For me, hey, maybe call me a little, risky or risk a lover or whatever. Thank you, Greg. Oh my God, thank you for the $20, man. Shout out to you, love you, brother. My God. Hells yeah. Yeah, buddy. Love you. But anyways, just the way that, I've kind of like, lived my life, I guess exuding risky behavior, what have you. To me, being an entrepreneur and having that freedom is the ultimate. And so, long story short, you know what I mean? Why I do these videos, you know what I mean? Why I do these videos, it just goes back to that. Because when I was a chef, when I was a bartender, when I was living that life, even back then, okay, people will be like, damn, Jose, you live an amazing life. You have an awesome life. And again, of course, you see the chef, you see the bartender, you seen that lifestyle, the restaurateur, hey, man, of course, everybody, he's the coolest guy in the block. Anthony Bourdain was the coolest guys of all cool guys, right? All that stuff, or it's still today, of course, everybody loves that world. So I was a rock star. Yeah, I was poor rock star. Like, again, I'm just like a local band that has a lot of fans locally, but I'm poor. So I had that, it was great and it was wonderful and it was all this stuff, but I was already kind of used to that. I was already used to like the fact that, when you are, a chef, when you are, a cook, when you're, in that world, people are automatically, just interested, like, oh my God, that's like the coolest thing in the world. Oh man, I wish I could do what you do. And the reality is like this. It's like, yeah, you could do what I do, but you just don't have what it takes. I don't know what else to say. This is the reality of it, okay? To do what I do. Look, it's like like being a football player, being, a paratrooper, whatever. I'm not a paratrooper. You know what I mean? There's a reason. I don't got what it takes, okay? But anyways, I got what it takes to be a cook, a chef, whatever. And so because of that, just being in that world and having so many people already always reaching out to me and just like, telling me that, back then, it was a kind of hard pill to swallow because I would be like, bro, I know you want to be me, but right now I want to be you because you're making $200K a year and you're coming here to eat the food I'm making for you. I'm working for you. And you're coming out here like, I'm Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Like, and you're not paying me like Tom Brady. You know what I mean? You're paying me like the guy that cleans Tom Brady's jockstrap. You know what I mean? Which is fine. I mean, it's the thing. It is what it is. But when I got it reversed, and I was the guy making a lot of money, or I was just in the other position. I was not a chef anymore, and I was still living my life, and still people were telling me these things because it's just the things that I would do with my life. I wanted to show people how they could do it themselves, or at least try to show them. Now, again, you can lead a horse to water, but doesn't mean they're going to drink. So, if there's people out there that have what it takes, to do these things, oh, look, I'll show, this is the blueprint. It's not that difficult. This is how you do it. And you make it happen. But if you don't, then you're never, you're never going to happen. That's the thing. So a lot of people out there, they talk a big talk, but they don't walk the walk. Okay? And that's where, again, these things, man, again, Greg, my God, thank you so much. You are the best. Shout out to you. My God, I love you, brother. Thank you. Yeah. So happy. But anyway, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a little bit, I'm just thinking about, just everything in general. But the reality is that it's all about a mindset, man. And, there's a guy out there named David Goggins. He's a famous, look him up. But he's always saying, stay hard. You got to stay hard. Is that you can lead a horse to water, but a pencil must be lead. That's right. And so, at the end of the day, like it's like, stay hard. And so like if you've lived a difficult life, if you've already like traveled the world, if you've already done a bunch of these things, like, yeah, moving to Mexico is no big deal. So my purpose to making videos these days is to show people that, have what it takes. It's a lot of you guys, by the way. It's a lot of the audience. But to show whoever, has what it takes that they can do it and how they can do it. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be quick. It's not going to be, again, my first year, abroad, my first year in Mexico was a disaster. But it wasn't a disaster. It was awesome. It was amazing because I came out here with a mindset, like a really, really positive mindset, even though, I would have, disaster after disaster, in many cases, as I was learning, as I was going, rolling with the punches, as I was, learning from experience, and a lot of times there's a lot of failure involved in that. But it was in a positive mindset. My God, it just made it an adventure. If you look at it like that, you're going to be awesome. But again, that's why in my videos, I like to, look, people ask me all the time, hey, how come you don't go out there and interview Mexicans? That's not what I do. Hey, how come you don't go out there and review a restaurant? That's not what I do. That's not because I'm not a travel vlogger. I'm not any one of these things. Hey, how come you don't, when you're walking about the building, how come you don't tell me about the architectural structure and the year that it was built? It says right here that it was built in the, that's not what I do. I don't care. I'm not making videos for that purpose. The purpose I make videos is just to show the audience that wants to watch it, hey, listen, you can make it out here, but it's not going to be easy. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to have. This is your mindset. The videos that I make. In fact, let's go through the videos real quick. By the way, shout out to Hiv Loco. Can't compete with that dude, but I agree with what he's saying. Oh, yeah. Oh, later, Greg. Love you. Peace out, man. You're the best, Greg. Greg is the one. Look, I'll show you who Greg is. This is Greg right here. He's in this video right here. It's like, what does retirement look like? Oh, wow. Damn it. Forgot I should. Okay. See right there, that video? What is retirement? All the way hold on. At the top right there. That's him right there. Shout out to him. He's been helping me a lot, very much with the truck. Okay. That's why we got the truck up and running. The truck is kicking ass. Love you, Greg. Thank you so much. You're the best. So he's a big, big supporter of the show. I helped, him move out here with just basically information. He did it all on his own. But yeah, at the end of the day, that's why I make these videos and I answer these hard truths. When I'm talking about, again, the last question. Remember, Thursdays, we do 3 live streams a day where I answer 3 questions asked by you, the audience. And the last question that I was asked was basically, again, talking about the peso, the dollar, whatever. And I really break it down and I let you know, what you can do about it. Okay, and it's not going to be easy. There's no real solution. I mean, there's no 100,000% guaranteed solution because anything can happen. But there's things that you can do if you study, things like monetary history. I don't want to get into it, but long story short, there's ways that you can protect yourself, and I try to just help you guys learn these things, educate yourselves, so that you are not caught with your pants down. So when I show you, for example, right here, you guys, if you haven't seen it already, again, not just, the video I did with Greg and his wife, Katie, but again, a video that I've done with David. I've done many videos with David. In this one, I'm walking around his neighborhood. Again, he lives in a neighborhood just like me, like I tell you guys to do, to live with the Mexicans, to just live with everybody else. But for whatever reason, all these other videos talking about moving to Mexico, they tell you have to live with the expats. You have to live in these gated communities. You have to. Why? You know what I mean? Sure, if you're a certain individual, you might have to or want to live in those communities or live in that lifestyle, but that's not really the case. So again, why I make these videos, for the longest time, there's all this fake news about immigration, about what it is to get your residency and what it really means. And so I got tired of that. So I literally went with my lawyer friend, okay? My really, really good friend, José Novelo, and we did a video talking about immigration and how you can get it done for free. And if not, how you can hire somebody. Not just Jose, you can hire anybody. But I break it all down to you. And that's it. And as soon as I start making these videos, all of a sudden, things start changing around all over the place, whether I'm talking about immigration, whether I'm talking about real estate, whether I'm talking about, what's really going on out here with gentrification, what's really going on with, whatever it is, whatever the subject might be, again, cannabis, You know, we're talking about that. You know, the real cost of living. I got to make a new update on that. You know, anarchy, you know, what it is to live out here. Whatever it is. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, I make a lot of videos on it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and the reality is because I want to prepare you guys and I want to show you guys, look, it's not going to be easy. Now, again, like for example, in other channels, in other videos, you're probably going to get bombarded with like, hey, you can only come to Mexico and live in Mexico if you got your residency and you got to have all this money and you got to this. And I'm basically telling you no. And I'm showing you no. I got tons of evidence as to like, look, you can be out here on a tourist visa indefinitely without a problem. Not just that, but again, so many other things. You know, when we're talking about business, when we're talking about driving a car, when we're talking about going to the market, when we're talking about whatever it is. You know, the whole gringo price. Oh, the gringo pricing me. Yeah, okay. I have my Mexican wife go, and then you see the prices like, oh, it's the same price. And it's like, it's no gringo prices. Again, it's like the hard truth that a lot of people don't want to swallow anymore. You know, which is the fact that, again, what we talked about in the last video, where we just said simply, hey, the peso's getting stronger, Mexicans are getting paid more, and you are getting paid less, and you are, you know, your dollar's worth less out here. So all of a sudden you think you're getting gringo price because things are getting expensive, but it's, no, that's not the case, you know, it's just the fact that, you know, your dollar, your everything is losing value. And anyway, so all these hard truths. So that's why I make these videos, because, again, now moving on to the next thing. The reason I make these videos is simply because, look, what you're going to see there, you know, I get questions or I get, you know, certain topics, you know, where, you know, the real reason expats are going broke out here, you know. And why is that? Because, again, a lot of people come out here with one idea of what it's going to be, and then they're surprised that it's a completely different way. It's a completely, you know, completely different thing, completely different animal. And so, you know, long story short, you know what I mean? Like, oh, man. That's why I make these videos, because I've met many people, okay? I've met people, believe it or not, that hate my guts. They tell me to my face, I came to Mexico because of you and other YouTubers, and they promised me one thing, and now when I get here, it's something completely different. And again, it's not, no one promised anyone anything. It's just that if you come with a mindset and you only want to hear a certain thing, well, then when you're met with the reality of said thing, it might be a hard pill to swallow for many people, especially if you're in denial or you don't want to, whatever, you know? So that's another reason why I make these videos, because I'm trying to save hardship, trying to save people money. You know, again, you know, can you imagine that you move blindly to Mexico and you hate Mexico and then you can't wait to get out and now you're stuck here? Yeah, I'm trying to make sure people like that don't end up here. You know, making sure like, hey, you know, maybe it's better to go to Iowa or Missouri. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like instead of coming out here. All right. So just you know, breaking it down like that. You know what the real cost of living is. You know, yeah. You know, if you are going to go to the fancy supermarket every day, yeah, it's going to be expensive. If you go to the regular market that all the other Mexicans go to, that's down the street, and it's some lady selling tomatoes and onions out of the front of her house, then you're going to be able to survive out here like all the other Mexicans do, and so on and so forth. And I could go on and on. So that's why I make these videos, because I'm really trying to just break down the misconceptions as to, you know, what it really is and what it really means to live in Mexico and be in Mexico. You follow what I'm saying? And, you know, unfortunately, there's a lot of, you know, misconceptions that have to be broken. You know what I mean? Because, again, people just have an idea of what Mexico is, and the reality is something completely different. And so what I try to do is show you the reality of what Mexico is. The good, the bad, the ugly from my perspective, living in this part of Mexico. Remember, there's many parts of Mexico. So, you know, don't be looking at my videos and thinking that all of Mexico is like this. No, only this part of Mexico is like this. Just like, you know, California is different than New York and different than Florida and Iowa. I don't know why I keep picking on Iowa. I have it on my mind. You know, Minnesota, Illinois, Washington State, Texas, New Mexico. I mean, they're all different, right? Even if they're next to each other. So what makes you think that Mexico's all the same? Don't get me started. Anyways, but it's not. They're all very different. So where I'm at is very different than Sonora or Nayarit or Mexico City or Oaxaca or Guanajuato or, you know, Baja, California, Tijuana. You know, I could go on and on. You know what I mean? Like, they're completely, like, again, you're going to compare Miami to Seattle, you know? That's how you're comparing Mérida to Tijuana. You know what I mean? Like, that's really where, you know, with the two ends of the country. So, I'm just showing you things of the perspective of how it is to live out here and how things are out here. And some people, again and again, and not just here, but also in Mexico, and so on and so on and so forth, you know? And how it's not easy for everybody. So look, recently I've been making more videos on, let's say, you know, business. You know, so in this video right here, you know, we did a tour, you know, okay, this is a Mexican family, okay, that was born and raised in the USA, and they came back to Mexico to open up their restaurant and their business. I got another business-oriented, you know, video coming up this Sunday. Okay, remember, every single Sunday we drop a brand new video. So this Sunday we got another video talking about that. But again, we're also doing the house tours, and okay, I got to film a few more. I've been very busy. I haven't had time to film those, or you know, take a lot more time to film. But we got more house tours, you know, just like we did with Greg and Katie, just like we did it with David and Rebecca, just like we did, you know, when we went to Calcal, and so on and so forth. And we're going to be doing more of those, again, real estate videos. But again, I'm not out here trying to sell you a house. I'm not here trying to give you prices on things. No, in fact, I show you how you can go online yourself to the Mexican real estate websites and find it yourself and do it yourself. Okay? You want to pay somebody? I can show you who you can pay, or you can find, or I show you where you can find people that, you know, you can pay to do these things. But long story short, I show you things so that, you know, you can do as much as possible yourself. And not just that, but at the end of the day, be armed with as much information as humanly possible, so when XYZ happens, you're prepared. You know, you're prepared. Everything you can imagine could possibly happen and will happen. But anyways, back to, you know, why I'm doing these home tours. I'm showing you how typical people in Mexico live. Regular people like you and me, but you guys in the audience, okay? And you guys, so you guys can see yourself how living out here. So I'm not showing you the home prices per se, and I'm not talking about that because that's not the point. The point is like, look, this is what it is to live in a Mexican neighborhood and how it feels to live in a Mexican neighborhood. And let's take a tour with the people that live here, and let's do an interview, and let's give you a tour of the house, and you know, whatever. If it's renting, maybe we'll give a price, you know, whatever, you know, things like that. Some people have bought their home. But again, that's why, again, I show you how you can find the prices on rentals because they vary. But long story short, I just arm you with real life experience. And so that's why I do these videos, because now these days, what I'm really trying to achieve more than anything else is for everyone out there to get their individual freedom. In a world that we're moving into right now, in which more and more people are realizing that they don't have any freedom. They probably never had any freedom to begin with. And now things are really going to get even more difficult, you know, less freedom to go around, if you follow what I'm saying. Then, you know, people are looking for a way out before it gets too late, you know, as they're waking up, as they are, you know, becoming illuminated, whatever you want to call it, you know, who cares, whatever, you know, whatever, again, if you're left or right or up or down, depending on, remember, all the countries are different. Everyone's different. But long story short, you're looking for a way out. You're looking for a better quality of life. You're looking for, you know, a lot of these things that you just cannot find in your home country anymore. And so I try to show you how you can do it. Now, is it going to be easy? No, it's not. Because remember, you're not coming out here on vacation. You know, many of you guys are coming out here as immigrants, as foreigners. Okay, that's what you are. All right, I know you want to be called expats, but the reality is that that's what you are. You're an immigrant. And now, just like an immigrant has a very difficult time assimilating into your home country, you know, immigrants that come from all over the world assimilating into the US or Canada or other parts of Europe, just like it's difficult for all of these immigrants coming from another country, another culture, another part of the world into your neck of the woods, what makes you think it's going to be easy for you? Just like it's difficult for them, it's going to be difficult for you. And so you're going to have to be ready to deal with that hardship, the harsh reality of what it really means and what it really is to be an immigrant. Because long story short, I might speak Spanish very fluently, okay? But I am 1,000% an immigrant. I'm not Mexican. I'm never going to be Mexican. I could be Mexican at heart. I could be Mexican through paperwork. I can have a Mexican passport, but I'm not going to be Mexican. It's impossible. I'm not. I'm Cuban, American. And you guys are whatever you are. Unless you're Mexican. Remember, there's a lot of Mexicans that are returning home. But the reality is that I'm just, you know, the reality is that I'm not making videos for other Mexicans that are returning home. Most of them already know what they got out here. And, you know, they know that it's, you know, things are better. But they just look at my videos and see how things are better. I don't need to tell them a lot of these other things, but for, a typical American or Canadian, out there more than anything else, or people that come from very, very comfortable lifestyles or have had a very comfortable life for a very long time, whatever that means. Everyone has a different, version of comfort, okay, and freedom. But long story short, I'm just trying to give people that wake-up call, that true reality of what it really does mean to live in Mexico, the good, the bad, the ugly. Again, I love it out here every single day. It gets better and better and better, and it just gives me so much hope and so much motivation to live life and be, alive, because I'm in a country that is just moving on up. And, I know if you're stuck in places like the USA, Canada, Europe right now, or other parts of the world, there might not be much hope. There might not be much inspiration. There might not be much, to look forward to, because everything's falling apart around you. And you're looking for a way out. And I'm just trying to tell you that, there are ways out. There is a way out, but it's not going to be easy. And so I'm just trying to prepare people as best as possible, because the reality is that when a lot of people realize how difficult it is to actually move to Mexico or another country or whatever, they quickly realize, remember, everyone has to have that internal dialogue with themselves and figure it out on their own. But everyone eventually realizes either A, Mexico is going to be the right option for me, living abroad is going to be the right option for me, or B, oh, no way, forget about it. I'd rather just be in the USA or Canada and just deal with that. Just deal with whatever they throw at me, because I would rather deal with whatever the government or my country is going to throw at me than deal with whatever Jose and Lambo are dealing with over there on the other side of the world. And that's why I make these videos, and I tell you the harsh truth. I'm not giving you taco reviews. You can do taco reviews when you get here. You know what I mean? Whatever. I'm doing, because again, I feel like that's a need that needs to be filled. There's a niche out there of people that really need to know this information. And I'm not trying to sugarcoat things, unless we're visiting the bakery. In which case, a lot of sugar. Mucho sugar. I love sugar. But that's it. That's it. You know what I mean? I'm not trying, when I do videos, let's say, like, don't trust any YouTubers giving you advice on Mexico. Yeah, it's clickbaity in the sense that, you click on it, and I'm really telling you the truth. Hey, don't trust anyone. Don't trust me. Don't trust anyone out there. You got to trust yourself. You got to make your own, again, educated, decision on whatever it is. Same thing as, again, you really want to know what it is to start a business. Okay, great. I'm going to do a video, and we're going to talk about that, so you can really see and hear it from the horse's mouth, literally. Okay, hear it from the people that are doing it, literally, and have them tell you. Again, same as interviewing other expats. I'm not just doing a stupid interview. By the way, I'm sorry, I say stupid, whatever, but I'm saying is that, like, I'm not just doing a dumb or whatever interview. What I mean is that, like, hey, I'm trying to give you as much as possible. Hey, let me show you what a house in Mexico looks like. Hey, let me show you what a neighborhood in Mexico looks like. Hey, let's really do some real questions. Hey, why are you really here? That kind of stuff. You know what I mean? That's it. That's all I'm kind of really trying to do is just show you what no one else is showing you. And as I continue making videos, that's what I'm going to be showing you. I'm going to be constantly changing it up, okay, as you guys already know. But all I'm doing is just trying to not be stale, trying not to be boring, trying to cover all the topics that people want to hear. But at the same time, more than anything else, I'm trying to just prepare you guys and show you what no one else is showing you. And that's it. I'm not doing anything, crazy here. I'm not doing anything extraordinary. To tell you the truth, it's just a simple, just showing you how it really is to live out here. So, with all that being said, guys, that's really why I make videos about living in Mexico, because right now, this is how, I make a living. But it's not just how I make a living, but it's the way, man, I get to help all of you guys out, okay? Like I said, from that comment earlier, like, I get many comments from you guys. Right now, someone like Greg being so grateful, so many of you guys that have been so grateful, giving me donations, wanting to, help me out, helping other people out as well. We're all helping each other out because we understand the situation we're in. And, we're filling Noah's Ark, I guess, in a sense, and we only want people that are going to contribute in a sense. We don't want freeloaders, if you know what I mean. So, I just try to really, and I hope you understand and everything I'm saying, and I'm not, I'm not trying to be literal here. It's just the reality is that times are getting hard, and they're only going to get harder. And in order for you to really like survive in a place like Mexico, you better prepare accordingly. Okay, because it's either your dollar might not be worth as much, so your retirement might not be worth as much, or B, let's say you're a digital nomad or you're making dollars, you better start figuring out how you're going to assimilate into the Mexican culture, or either you're going to have to move to another country, or you're going to have to learn Spanish, or you move back to your own country or whatever, because again, there's a lot of things that are constantly changing, and there's a lot of things that are constantly happening in the world, and you better prepare yourself. And that's all I'm trying to do here, is to really prepare yourself. I'm not the point. I guess the point I'm really trying to make is that my channel is not to just provide entertainment or provide information. It's also to provide solutions, which is, I feel, what a lot of people are lacking out there, like real working solutions, not hypothetical solutions, not maybe the solution. Maybe, no, I'm trying to really give you real results, okay, and real solutions. And then the reality is that you, as the individual, determine whether you want to take that risk or not. Because a lot of these solutions, every solution, again, every decision has some sort of risk, okay? And so when I give you the real solutions, it obviously comes with a level of risk. Again, most of the solutions are, there's nothing, how do I say this? There's no real mystery. It's just, hey, this is the way things work in Mexico. And when you come from the USA or Canada, you come from other parts of the world where everything is a certain way, you got all these rules and regulations and this and that, whatever, and then you find out how things are done in Mexico. A lot of people are scared, and they are, hesitant as to whether or not they're gonna do it, and yada yada yada, and that's what determines whether they, make the decision or not. And so that's what I mean with the risk, meaning you need to trust where you're at now. You got to understand that you're not in Canada or the USA or wherever anymore. You're now in Mexico, and this is how things work here. And that you need to, again, if you don't trust the information you're getting, then you need to do your own research, and then you need to, maybe ask a Mexican. Oh, but I don't speak Spanish. Learn Spanish. I mean, come on. All these things solutions are really right there in front of your face. And, that's all I'm really just trying to do. It's just really trying to give that people the reality check. I'm not trying to discourage people. If anything, I'm trying to encourage people to make the right move. Because the right move, again, might just be to move to an English-speaking country, or another part of the country. Again, another part of the USA, or just moving to, I don't know. There's part of Asia. There's many parts of Asia, many parts of Latin America where they also speak English. So. And that's the thing, that's all I'm trying to do. All I'm really trying to do is just provide you guys with real solutions. Whether you want to take them or not, that's up to you. But I'm not trying to sugarcoat things and trying to just, tell you things that you want to hear. In fact, I'm telling you things that you might not want to hear, okay? And telling you harsh realities of, what it really, really means and what it really is to live in Mexico and all this other stuff. But when it all boils down to it, most people these days, they know that their situation wherever they're at is just going to get worse as each day comes. And living in Mexico, no matter how difficult it is easy compared to living where they're at or in the situation they're at the moment. And that's really all it boils down to. And so I'm just trying to, again, for those people that are in, because look, a lot of people that are in the lower rung of the economic scale, but they have, a lot of that, immigrant spirit to make it out here, are constantly being discouraged about moving to Mexico because, again, oh, you need your residency, oh, you need your this, you need your papers, you need your this. And I'm just telling you, no, you don't. No, you don't, okay? At all. You don't need any of that. And so that's what I'm trying to do. It's just, again, to encourage people that really are going to be good immigrants, and really do, provide, positively, to the economic, to the economy of Mexico, and so on and so forth, okay? And that's all it is. And I'm trying to discourage the Karens out there that are going to come out here and come out here and they act all entitled and they are trying to celebrate Cinco de Mayo and they're acting like a fool and yada, yada, yada. You know what I mean? So, again, see, Genya says, my husband is a licensed professional land surveyor. Can he find a good job out here? Yeah, probably. Does he speak Spanish? You know what I mean? If he speaks Spanish, then yes. You know what I mean? Is he willing to get paid in pesos? Yes. You know what I mean? Can he start his own business? Yes. Is he willing to do it? I don't know. So, I mean, but yes. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do. You could be a seamstress. You know, you'll have a lot better luck out here than probably in the USA. You know what? Again, anyways. But yeah, long story short, it's not going to be easy, but I feel for many people, it might be the right decision to move out here or the wrong decision. So that's all I try to do is just, again, provide you guys with real solutions to these real problems, to these real questions, to these real situations that you guys are encountering out here on a daily basis, you know? And that's it, you know? So it's more about catering to my audience that is looking for freedom, looking for solutions, looking for a better way of life, willing to take a risk, willing to go on an adventure, willing to, you know, learn new things, experience new things, you know, again, whether it's learning a language, learning a culture, all of the above, you know, so many things. I mean, I'm just trying to encourage you on all that, you know, because, you know, otherwise, you know what I mean? Like it's, you might, again, it might be a very difficult transition. And in fact, like many people end up doing is that they end up moving back. You know, I mean, right now, you know, we're seeing a bunch of expats, a bunch of foreigners, you know, moving back to their home countries because they cannot live their fancy lifestyle out here anymore. Because as the currency, you know, what we talked about in the last live stream, you know, as the Mexican peso gets stronger and all their currencies like the dollar, the euro, the Canadian peso, whatever, you know, all these things are losing value against it. They're getting weaker. You know, again, you know, they can't afford the things that they used to afford. And now they are looking, you know, hey, I got to go to Bali. I got to go to another country. I might have to go back to my own home country, whatever, you know. So, you know, just trying to prepare people and give people a heads up before it's too late, before they make the wrong decision, and trying to set them up for success, all right, not for failure. So, and that's it. So, I mean, that's it. You know what I mean? That's all we're doing here. It was my favorite taco or Mexican food in Mexico. I mean, all of it. Depends on the day. Anyways. But I think we've covered this video. I mean, I think we covered this topic pretty thoroughly. I mean, I don't know what else to kind of say here. But, you know, really just, again, bringing it back to full circle. It's when I get comments, you know, in the comment section, or people reaching out to me or whatever, even right now in the comment, you know, right now in the chat, whatever. And they're basically, you know, so happy that they moved to Mexico, and it's all for the right reason. You know, basically, oh my God, in Mexico, I finally have that freedom. You know, the freedom that we talked about earlier. Man, you know what I mean? It makes me feel so good. So good. You know, that's why I don't care about no haters. That's why I don't care about people that come and they complain about Mexico. Because look, some people are Karens. Let's not get it twisted, you know, and they just come out here with their entitlement and their whatever. So, you know, good riddance to them. But there's a lot of people that have a lot of valid complaints, and I totally get it. They're not Karens per se. You know, I got family members, you know, I know a lot of you guys, you know, that have, you know, these real world, you know, concerns and comforts that you've already lived with for a very long time, or used to living with, you know, all of these things. And then, you know, long story short, you know, you don't want to live without them. You don't want to live, you know, without these things. And so, you know, you just say, whatever, you know, I am willing to, you know, I don't need to move to Mexico. You know, my idea of freedom is not the same as Jose's idea or other people's ideas. And so, you know, that's it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's all it really boils down to is that, you know, what do you value the most? You know, and then at the same time, you know, meeting freedom or comfort. And then, you know, once you make that decision, well, it's going to depend on whether you're going to like my videos or not, you know, and that's it. If you like comfort, more than freedom, you're probably not going to like my videos. If you like freedom more than comfort, then you're going to love my videos, because I'm just telling you how, you can have more freedom, and that's it. And, again, just, trying to be self-sustainable, trying to be able to do things on your own. Again, it's not going to be easy. And again, it's going to be even more difficult if you don't know the language, if you're coming out here with a certain mindset. But again, if you come out here with an adventurer's mindset, you know some Spanish, you're down to get with the Mexican culture, you're hanging out with the Mexicans and things like that, then you'll be fine. In fact, it's funny because you'll hear it all the time. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes in the comment section, in the Facebook groups or whatever, they'll be like, oh, the Mexicans, they might, how do you really know if the Mexicans like you or not? You know what I mean? Sure, you invite your Mexican friends to all your parties, all your get-togethers, all your this, all your that. But when was the last time they invited you to any of their parties? And that made me think, and I was like, yeah, that's true. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of Mexicans out there, they might go to a lot of your expat parties, your foreigner parties, whatever, but they're never going to invite you to their home. They're never going to invite you to their Mexican party or anything like that. And why is that? It's because you haven't really integrated. You really aren't friends with them. You're not really it's not like that. And so the thing is that you can very easily get invited to a Mexican home, invited to Mexican parties, invited to Mexican get-togethers and things like that. But that means that you got to make the effort and you got to go out there and make it happen. Mexican people are very loving, very, very welcoming, very family-oriented. They'll pick up someone off the street and give them food, without even, thinking about it. Like, it's not even a thing. You know what I mean? Like, and so, many, many times I've seen it with my own eyes, where I'll see somebody that is just basically hungry. They're starving and they look like a bum, or they look like someone that had a hard day, hard time, hard whatever. And they go and they just ask, like the taco stand. They'll go ask anybody, that's selling food or has kind of like, like a food situation. And they get free food, man. They get free food. It's like, you're not going to starve out here, man. You know what I mean? And again, the thing is that you got to put work and effort and all this stuff. You can fall to rock bottom. You can have bad days. You can have, a bad luck. A lot of things can happen. But if you are willing to pick yourself up and put in that work and make things happen, you will survive in Mexico. So you come out here with that mindset and you come out here with whatever, you'll be fine. Again, most of my friends, again, are, I got a lot of Mexican friends. You know what I mean? Like, I got a lot of expat friends, but I got a lot of Mexican friends too. And all the neighbors know me, and I talk to my neighbors and all this other stuff. And it's like, that's the thing. You know what I mean? Like, I get invited to Mexican parties all the freaking time. And it's like, and I know a lot of other expats and foreigners that get invited to parties all the time as well. But it has to do with you. Whether or not you're going to want to. And so that's it. That's why, again, I'm going back to making these videos. Why I do these things. It's because of things like that. People come out here and they suffer from loneliness, and they suffer from, again, all of these things, that they suffer from, that are very real problems and real things. And I'm not trying to diminish them. I'm just trying to, again, shed some light on these things so that it just makes everything easier for you. For you, I tell you most of you guys out there that watch my videos and the information I provide, you're so crazy happy because for the most part, you're like, oh my God, I'm glad that that's really how things are because I want to move to Mexico. Or the opposite, like, oh my God, I'm glad you told me how things are because I don't want to move to Mexico. And things of that sort. And, that's just the reality of it. So, bruh. All right, it's getting a little hot in here, so I'm going to turn on the fan. I'm going to start reading over the comments, all right? If you guys have any questions, any comments, anything on this, let me know. We're about to start wrapping this bad boy up. I can't believe it's already been an hour, so. But it is getting hot in here. So, anyway, shout out to everyone in the audience, Hola, Lorena, Genia, Gutierrez, Todd, Raw, Food, everybody out there. So, I guess, yeah, a lot of people listening today, not many questions. That's another thing too. That's what I love. When I see a lot of people in the audience, but not many people in the chat. It's like, damn, I guess people are listening. So, Thank you. Appreciate it, Todd. Yes, yes, yes. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's this is why I continue making these videos. I've seen, since the last year. By the way, please let me know if the fan messes with the audio too much, all right, so I can turn it off. I think we'll be okay as we wrap it up. But again, just going back to full circle, why I do these videos. The reality is that it's because of that. Like, I know that there's a lot of people out there in the world that would love to live my life. Again, all the way from the beginning, since I was a chef, all the way up until now. And so now that I found the voice online, I'm living out here the dream for real. Because back when I was like a chef, it's not. I'm not trying to sell anybody on that. It's a really, really hard life, and you got to be a masochist to be a cook, to be a chef, to be in that world. And that's another story for another day. But when it comes to something like, let's say, moving to Mexico, and I'm making videos and basically just showing you how I live my life and showing you things like, how life is out here, and just again being able to make a living by, again, helping you guys out, providing free information, providing information that's going to be helpful to you, helpful to others, helpful to the Mexican people, helpful to everybody, and I get to get paid on that. I get to get paid to talk and help you guys out. I mean, it's the best thing in the world. I mean, again, if you go to my website, all the information's free. Most of the videos that I make, 90% are free information. And a lot of you guys that are just paying me to ask me a question like this are just basically paying it forward, paying me back. Whether I already gave you information and helped you out, or you're now paying it forward and helping other people out by asking questions or providing donations so that I can continue doing this stuff. But at the end of the day, we've already talked about it multiple times. I'm out here trying to integrate. I'm out here trying to, start my own business, do my own thing, and not rely on this channel. Even though I'm going to continue making content and always, showing you how, again, you can thrive out here and showing you things about business and so many other things no one's talking about. But the reality is that, hey, I can't rely on this. Anything can happen. And, right now, even though I love to make videos and I want to make videos forever, and again, some of you guys know I have a cooking channel. I want to make cooking videos. I want to do all that stuff. But the reality is that this is what's helping me pay the bills, is continuing to help you guys move out here. And I got to pay the bills. In the meantime, I get to, work on my other stuff. And now as that other stuff grows, and as that other stuff, starts being sustainable, again, I don't have to rely so much on this. The less I rely on this, the more open and free I can be talking about subjects and telling you about things. That's why we got to have certain Zoom calls, with certain people out there, because there's certain things I can't talk live on air or make a video about. But I can talk in a phone call, answer XYZ, talk about XYZ. But as time goes on and I don't have to rely so much on this, well then, I'll probably be able to talk about more dicey subjects. As basically, nowadays every subject is dicey. You know what I'm saying? So, are there nursing homes out here? Yes, there are. But they're not like the USA. We are happy here. All right, awesome. I'm always listening. All right, we sold our home in Florida. Good. Awesome. Shout out to you. Thank you guys all for sharing in the comments, in the chat. Shout out to all of you guys. So again, for anyone out there that wants to know where my cooking channel is, where any of my stuff is, here, I'll show you. It's all easy to find. Okay? All you got to do is go to my YouTube page. Okay? Go to my YouTube page and then just scroll all the way down. And then when you scroll all the way down, you see my original channel all the way to the left. Oh, wait. This is, yeah, all the way to the left. Okay? And then you see the cooking channel all the way to the right. And then there was something I was trying to do there, Food University, but whatever. Anyways, but you can see the cooking there, all right? And then, like I said, just stay tuned. I'm coming up with some business-oriented content. I'm gonna be showing you my own business out here. I'm gonna be showing, we're gonna be moving. Remember, I'm not. Anyone that's been watching me for years, that I'm constantly switching it up and changing it because I want to keep it fresh. I want to enjoy what I do. And again, there's just so many things. I've lived a very long life and I've done a lot of things and I have a lot of things I can show you guys. And You know, at the end of the day, it's you know, it has to be financially sustainable. And so that's why, you know what I mean, like I make these videos and I do what I do now because it's what keeps my lights on, what pays my bills. But as time goes on and I'm able to rely on my other business endeavors more and not have to rely on YouTube as much, I can now pursue more wonderful things, whether it's the cooking channel or making better content on this channel, and so on and so forth. Because again, you know, making a live video like this doesn't cost me any money. You know, making certain videos where I'm just walking around the neighborhood or driving my bike doesn't cost me any money. But let's say that I gotta drive around in my truck, that's gonna cost me money. Okay, time is also money. As I edit these videos, the more complicated they get, time is money. You know, when I gotta go visit somebody, do the whole spiel, you know, like, you know, I gotta, all that money, time is money, costs money. So, you know, that's the thing, you know what I mean? The better videos cost more money. That's it. Or time and money. Or time, which equals money. So long story short, you know, we're working on it. I'm trying to make it the best content humanly possible. But anyways, you can find it there. You can also go to my website. Okay, all the links are down below, josearteaga.com. And on my website, again, I got the cooking stuff right there as well. Okay, I also get, you know, my old channel. I got everything there. All right. So with all that being said, all right, we already went over an hour. All right. And that's it. We got to wrap this bad boy up. All right. We've been chatting away since 1 o'clock this afternoon. It's already 4 o'clock. So it's already been 3 hours of content that I've made today alone. All right. So with that being said, guys, you already know the deal, guys. I hope you guys like this kind of content. I hope you guys like these videos. I hope you guys are enjoying the stuff on my channel. If you want to know how you can support the channel, go to my website. Click on support the show. It'll show you there. Again, if you want to know you can ask me a question just like this question or the other question that I got asked before, you know, about whatever, anything. Again, here's some of the questions. You know, can I still retire in Mexico if the peso keeps getting stronger? Is there affordable healthcare in Mexico with no insurance? Business. You know, what happens if I die in Mexico? How much do Mexicans make? You know, tourist visas, gardens, loud dogs, whatever, anything, you know, dating in Mexico, whatever you want to ask me. Again, you can just click on the link that I'm providing in the chat, that I provide in the comment section, that I provide in the description of this video. And it'll take you straight to this page on my website. And on that page, you can, you know, read down below how it works. But long story short, you send me an email with your question, and I get to answer your question live on air. And each question will cost a fee depending on the severity of the question. The complexity of the question will depend on the fee, and that's how you can help the channel out. You can help the community out, and we're all helping each other out, because not only do you get your question answered for you, but because some of you guys get all the information for free off my website, off my videos, and you just need 1 or 2 more questions, and so you just simply ask it this way. I get to answer it in a very detailed, thorough way, and at the same time, it provides an answer to everyone out there in the audience so that they can also have that answer for the future. And once a month, let's not forget, once a month, I go live, all right? And I just go live for 2 to 3 hours straight, answering all of your questions, okay? We just did one last week, so, you know, it's going to be until next month when we do the next one. So all that good stuff. So you already know the deal, guys, all right? If you want to help support the show, you already know what to do. If, what else? Oh, yeah. Sorry. I want to give a big shout out to all my patrons, all my subscribers, oh my God. You can tell my brain starts to melt after so much of this. All right, let's get into it. All right, sorry. I want to give a big shout out to all my members, all the patrons. Every single one of you guys out there, subscribers, not subscribers, every single one of you guys that's watching, not watching. Shout out to every single one of you guys supports the show in any way humanly possible. But long story short, full circle, thanks again for watching. You already know the deal. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, please hit the bell icon. But more importantly than anything else, please stay awesome. If you want to see more questions, more videos, don't forget to subscribe up here. Don't forget to check out the playlist over here. We got more questions. Don't forget to go to the website. Don't forget to go to my webpage, YouTube page. You can see all the videos, get more questions, more answers, more content, more fun, more hilarity, more insanity, more Jose, than you can ever ask for. So, all right, guys, thanks again for watching. Thanks again for hanging out. Shout out to everyone out there in the audience. Shout out to everyone out there that hung out with me here this Thursday and every Thursday. So, again, every Thursday we go live multiple times a day, making these questions, answering these questions, doing these live streams. And on Sundays, we drop a video. So every Sunday and every Thursday, we got new content on this channel. So see you guys on Sunday and see you guys here next Thursday. Thanks again for hanging out with me. Thanks again for watching. Love you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys. All right, how do I turn this off?